You know what's kind of ridiculous and kind of redundant? That there are actually people out there, I'm not denying humanity amongst this, as you already seen with the title. There are people out there who think that there are more than two genders. Now, again, I'm not going to deny your humanity amongst this because, people can believe whatever they want and nobody has to really judge them on it because, we got religion, we got politics, we got, gender now. But what's really kind of aggravating, though, is how people are approaching this, though. I mean, you got people out there who are like, well, gender is something you can identify as. Well, sex is, male and female. Now, actually, some people can actually contradict themselves on that because, gender is linked closely to sex, while sex is determined on your chromosomes. So what did I say right there? You can't change your gender. It's impossible. No, you can't change your gender because of how you feel. You can't change your gender because it's not an identity thing. It's a biological thing. You see, gender is biology, and gender is linked closely to sex. While sex is not connected closely or related to gender, gender is linked closely to sex. And sex is determined on your chromosomes. You get XY, you're a boy. XX, you're a girl. Let me break it down for you. So everybody knows XX, XY, girl, boy. Your mother will always give you an X because she only has two X's. She can't give anything else. So it's the mother who always gives an X. The father has a choice of an X or a Y. Now, what I mean by choice is it's randomly selected. If the father produces a Y, it's going to be a boy. If he produces an X, it's going to be a girl. It's simple. This is basic biology. I should be telling this to 5th graders. Fucking hell. But no, you got people out there. Look, I'm not denying humanity because I'm part of I consider myself part of the LGBT community. I'm bisexual. But I mean, this is basic common knowledge. This is what normal people would call common sense. Everybody knows that there are no more than two genders. Everybody knows that. Everyone knows that. But no, you got people out there who think that there are more than two genders. Now, anybody who claims that there are more than two genders is just an attention whore at its finest. But like I said, I'm not denying humanity. If you want to believe that there are more than two genders, go right ahead. There's an opportunity. It's not a big deal. I know people out there who think that there are more than two genders. And those are fine people. They don't push it upon me. They say, call me a she or he if you want to, but in my spare time, I think I'm this gender. And I'm not denying that. You want to think that you're that gender, then that's fine. Go right ahead. Consider it. It's when people start to force it on you, and if you don't believe it, or if you don't acknowledge them, they criticize you as a demon. They demonize you because of it. That's what I have a problem with. You have people out there who are like, well, if you don't accept my gender, then you don't think I'm a human. You're transphobic. Like, seriously, I mean, you're gonna get people out there who won't believe it. It's like the same deal when you take a look at Christianity. You have people out there who believe in it, and you have people who don't believe in it. And yeah, there are people out there who are sane and say, oh, if you don't believe in my God, then that's fine. I believe my beliefs, you believe in your beliefs. And then you got people who are like, oh, you're going to hell if you don't believe in God. Same deal when it comes to genders. Oh, you're transphobic if you don't believe in my genders. Exactly how the point goes. Now, religion and gender are completely separated amongst, but we'll talk about that a little bit later on in the video. Now, when I'm talking about gender, I mean, I'm talking about, the two most common ones used out throughout the gender community with transgenders, and that's non-binary and gender fluid. Let's talk about those for a bit. Let's start off with gender fluid. You cannot change your gender on a daily basis. It's impossible. People who think that they're a male but they are female is impossible. Your chromosome sets will say otherwise. Your DNA, Your biological statement, your physical sex will always determine you as female or male. It doesn't matter how you feel, and it doesn't matter how you think. Whatever your chromosome sets or your physical sets lines up to is how you're determined. Now, what gender fluid is based upon is that they can pick your genders on any kind of occasion. Oh, I think I'm a boy. Oh, sometimes I'm a boy. Sometimes I'm a girl. Sometimes I'm neither. And sometimes I'm both. You can only be a boy if you're a boy. You can only be a girl if you are a girl. You cannot be both, and you cannot be neither. Which leads me to non-binary. This one's I'm going to be talking about the most. Non-binary is basically where you think you don't have a gender. Keyword, think. Now, anybody with a functioning brain would realize that, no, you cannot be genderless. There are always going to be physical appearances as well as biological appearances which would determine your gender. And one of the biggest arguments that these people would fucking bring up is the fact that, well, your genitals don't determine your sex. They do. Because how is it that the majority of women have vaginas? If you take a look at over 4 to 5 billion people who are women, which is pretty much almost the exact number because there are 8 billion people out there. If you consider the fact that half the world, which is women, have vaginas, how is it you're saying that the genitals don't determine that, yet the majority of women out there in the real world, which equals more than birth defects, so I'll get to that in a bit, have vaginas? Or if you take a look at boys, how is it that the majority of boys in the world have penises? Here's the thing. Women have vaginas, ovaries, and female testicles. A female testicles is different from a male testicle. Male testicles, they produce sperms, while female testicles produce eggs. They both work in the same kind of deal, which they are reproductive organs, but they have different functions. Female testicles are in the woman next to their ovaries, while males are hanging in between their legs next to their taint. But you get the point. So, males have penises, but females have vaginas. So how is it that the majority have penises, but yet that doesn't determine they're boys? That makes no sense. I can tell you why they think that way, though. It's because there are birth defects out there. There's something floating around called intersex. If you don't know what intersex is, it's a birth defect which deflects the chromosome sets determined on their physical sex. What I mean by this is that there are people out there who are female but have male chromosomes. And there are males out there with female chromosomes. But this is solely based upon a birth defect, and here's why. Intersex only happens out of about 1 out of 2,500 people. 1 out of 2,500. That's very, very rare. And not to mention, these people will always say, well, if females out there are born with vaginas, then how are there some out there with penises? There are 2 problems with this. 1, the majority of women out there have vaginas. It's basic common sense. And 2, this is a birth defect. So that means women who are born with penises end up becoming non-functional, which means they're non-fertile, they cannot reproduce. Women who do end up being born with penises, which is a rare occasion, end up having a sexual organ that is not functional. It's not, because first things first, women don't have testicles that grow outwards. They grow inwards. So how is it that a female who has a penis can reproduce? They can't. Because first things first, they have a penis, so they can't insert it. And second, their testicles do not grow on the outside. They grow on the inside. Same problem with males. If a male is born with a vagina, that means he's not born with a penis or testicles. So that means he cannot produce sperm. And he cannot be born with an ovary. Males are not born with ovaries. They can't. Now, I don't know if there are studies out there or if there are people who are born with ovaries. I don't know that for sure. But as I've learned over the years, males cannot be born with ovaries. They do not have a pelvic bone structure on which allows an ovary to grow. Women have pelvic bone structures on which allows it. It's called a birth canal. They have a birth canal implemented on their pelvic region. Men don't have that. So men cannot be born with ovaries. But this is the whole point. This is the thing. It's a birth defect. If you have to use a birth defect to push forward an agenda, your agenda sucks. Oh, there are men out there born with vaginas. So what? Only out of 1,000 people, 2,500 people are born with that kind of condition. And if you don't believe me, look up intersex. Look it up. It's simple. Go look at it. Go look at it in extended history. There are not many people out there who are born like that. You cannot base your agenda or your political thoughts or a social thought on top of a birth defect. It's impossible to make it an assumption. And also, it's debatable. It's debatable. You might think that that chromosomes don't line up with sex or gender. I think otherwise. So it's a debatable concept. But here's the thing, going back to non-binary, you cannot be genderless. You can't. There are always going to be body appearances, physical sex appearance, and biological sex appearance, which determines your gender. It doesn't matter how you feel or how you think. Gender is not in the mind. It isn't. You know, it's based solely upon biology. It's your biology. Honestly enough, let me tell you this. Let me ask you this. If this is a biological appearance, if this is a biological statement, there are studies out there, then how is it that biology teachers and professors are not teaching this? The majority of my biology teacher has never taught me more than two genders. She said that there were only two genders. You know, I have a friend who's out in Rowlett. Same fucking deal. Rowlett, Texas. Dallas, Texas. Hell, I have a friend out in Frankfurt, Germany, or Frankfurt, and he same deal. I also have another friend out in Germany. He's in München, Germany. Same deal, same appearance. This is all online friends. I have a friend out in France, Paris, France. Same deal. I have a friend, Britain. Same deal. How is it that biology teachers are not teaching this? Obviously, if there's studies on this, that there are more than two genders, teachers would be teaching this. If there's a study out there which is related around biology or science, then teachers might be studying this and teaching their kids this, right? Absolutely. But the thing is, the only genders that are being taught out there is male and female. Non-binary is not being taught in schools. Gender fluid, two-spirit. Hell, I've seen toucan sexual. I know where that came from, though. Nobody's teaching that. So how is it that there are studies out there, and how is it it's true, but yet teachers, professors, and even biologists out there are not studying, teaching, or pushing this? How is it? It makes no sense. Which kind of leads me on with non-binary and their pronouns. Now, pronouns, I don't think pronouns relate on biology. It more or less relates around the English dictionary. Because, you know, in my opinion, there are only 4 pronouns. He, she, him, and her. But apparently so, they, them, and their are apparently pronouns. Now, anybody who says that, they need to march up to their English teacher and tell them, I need to relearn in your fucking class. Your English teacher tells you that those words are plural nouns. The definition of a plural noun is to describe the actions of 2 or more people. They, them, and their are described as plural nouns to describe the actions of 2 or more people. It's like cacti. Cacti is a word for more than two or more cactuses. If you say cactus, you're talking about one. If you say cacti, you're talking about more than one or more than 2. Like if you go out in the state of Texas, like you go way on yonder down south, or you come down here where I am, you look around, you see cacti everywhere. You look at those. Those are cacti. Like I said, go on Google and look up cacti. Then go on Google again and look up cactus. Now, it might pull up the same image you see on cacti, but you get the point. Cacti, more than one cactus. Cactus, one cactus. Which leads me to they, them, and their, or he and she. He and she, one person. They, them, and their, 2 or more. Like, for example, if 2 people left their phones on the desk, which actually happens often, you will look at your teacher and go, oh, by the way, they left their stuff on their desk. Teacher will look at it and go, oh, the teacher will look at it and go, he's talking about 2 or more people. Looks at the desk. Oh, 3 or 4 people left their shit on their desk, or their phones, or their bags. They acknowledge that. Let's say you don't do this. You don't, like, a person walks into McDonald's. One person goes by the they, them, and their pronouns. You know how embarrassing that would look in front of your workers when you're sitting there going, oh, they want a burger. You know what they sit there and think when they hear they? They think, oh, 2 or more people. Got it. They cook up 2 burgers. You know how stupid they'll look at you and go, when you sit there and look at them and go, oh, no, 1 burger. You said they. So what the fuck do you mean? You see what I mean? This makes no sense. How can you go by a they, them, and their pronoun if they, them, and their is described as a plural noun for 2 or more people? It makes no sense. If you don't believe me, go look it up in the dictionary. Go look it up it's basic common sense. You might be thinking, oh, he's basing everything around Google and dictionaries. The reason why I am, it's fucking basic knowledge. Who the fuck sits there and throws common sense out the window to be politically correct? Oh, that's right. The fucking liberals. God's sakes. You might be thinking to yourself, oh, he's getting angry and shit. The reason why I'm getting angry is because of the fact that, people will sit there and they think they have to be fucking politically correct about this. They have to be politically correct. When common sense is right up their fucking nose for them. It's looking them dead in the fucking eyes. Like Satan. It literally is looking at you and you're ignoring it and being politically correct. For once, can you just be politically incorrect for once? Now, like I said, I'm not denying your humanity for believing in this. If you want to believe in that, can go right ahead. I have no problem with it. It's when you try to force it on us that's giving me a problem. Go right ahead. Think there are more than 2 genders. Think there are. It doesn't bother me. But if you try to push it onto me like I'm somehow supposed to oblige by this, I will argue with that. I will. You will not change my mind or anybody else's mind to fit your scummy fucking agenda. Here's the thing. There are going to be people out there who acknowledge on the multiple gender thing. There are many people. You got fucking Lacey Green, Stewart, piece of fucking shit, I don't know her name. You got most liberals out there that believe in it, and you got the LGBT community acknowledging that. There are people out there who acknowledge that. Go talk to those people. But as for me being a conservative, or most Republicans, and even some liberals out there, some Democrats, there are people out there who don't believe in that. And plus also, they could debunk you instantly. Hell, go argue with fucking Ben Shapiro about it. I bet you he'd debunk your ass in a fucking second. Like that. But like I said, you want to believe in that, that's fine. Go right ahead. Just don't force it on me. It's the same deal with religion. You believe in this? Don't enforce it on me. Don't. Because then you're going to create an argument. And there's going to be a no ending point with this kind of argument. Because creating especially when you take a look at a political argument, which honestly, gender shouldn't be playing a role in politics. But if you take a look at it in a political debate, it's not going to end. You're going to get people out there who are at the opposition, and they're not going to believe it. It's simple. But that's the thing. I've seen many videos. Go look up 17. Go look up 17. There's a channel out there called 17. Look it up and then look at trans students describe non-binary. They make a video explaining about non-binary and why it's so important. These genders are so important. And most of them keep up bringing this kind of accusation of that, oh, acknowledging people, if you don't acknowledge them by the pronouns, then that's somehow hurtful. And one cunt decides to say, she quotes a LGBT activist that she sits there and says, misgendering someone is an act of violence, a sociable violence. If someone misgenders you and you think that's somehow a violent thing, you probably don't need to be out in society. It shows how much your sensitivity is. Like your insecurity issues are just out of the fucking roof at that point. It's probably best if you just stay at your safe space. But seriously, that's another thing that kind of pisses me off. Is that people will literally demonize you if you do not oblige by the pronoun. Like seriously, I've been on DeviantArt. I saw a stamp on there that says, I'm not transphobic for not obliging by your pronouns. And I put in my comment, I know it's a kind of an overstretch, but I put my comment on there and I said, anyone who obliges by it is lacking English. I can't remember what it exactly says. I'll find a link in the description and show it to you. I will not be scared to show my own controversial comments. But I had over 4 or 5 people literally comment to me saying that you're a bigot and shit and trying to argue with me. I even have one person, like a Jacksepticeye fan. Love Jacksepticeye though. But he was like a heavenly Jacksepticeye fan. Literally tried, at the end of the argument that I had that person, he says I was brain dead or something because the guy was obliging by my own opinion. If you're going to call me brain dead for obliging by my own opinion, or in this case, facts, this shows how much of an insecurity level that you fucking have. Seriously. And that's the thing I'm not trying to explain, is that you have people out there who are like, well, then you're not a human for not obliging by my pronouns, or you're not a nice person. Well, you know what? Fuck you. Get out of fucking society. Get off the internet, then. Get off the fucking internet. You're gonna get people out there who are not gonna oblige by your stupid fucking pronouns. It doesn't bother me, and it doesn't bother the rest of us. It really doesn't. And plus, it's basic fucking common sense. It doesn't bother me. And I'm not sitting here denying your humanity just because of like you oblige by pronouns. I'm not doing that. It doesn't bother me. But if you're going to sit there and tell me I have to oblige by it, otherwise it's violence, then I will tell you straight up with a big fucking finger and go fuck you on that. And if you don't like what I'm saying, then good. Get off the internet. Don't go out in public. It's seriously annoying to sit here and hear this constant regurgitated shit that you pass off as a political argument going, well, if you don't oblige by my pronouns, you're not a human, you're bigot, you're transphobic. And even, I saw this before. Ben Shapiro sat down with a transgender, I think his name was Zoe. His name was Zoe. Yeah, his name was Zoe. And I'll find this video again and link it in the descriptions below. But I saw this, and you know, Ben Shapiro going on with his opinions, giving out facts and shit, because his opinion was very, very strong. But during that, he sat there and it was talking about identity and talking about how it's affecting people, or how it's somehow delusional, and I agree with him. But Zoe grabs Ben Shapiro by the neck and goes, if you don't cut that out, I'm going to send you home in a hospital. There's 2 things wrong with this. First thing, how do you send someone home in a hospital? If you injure them, they're going to the hospital. So, illogical thinking, you don't know how to fucking bring up your own comebacks. And second, what a fucking violent act that this person did. And the fucked up part was that the people on that show, because it was hosted on CNN, the people on that show were defending Zoe because he said that. He said that. And they defended him. And I found that fucked up. Because he literally advocated for violence because Ben Shapiro didn't believe in his stupid opinions. Well, I hate to tell you to it, Zoe, you ignorant cunt. Why don't you if you're gonna fight one, to fight all. Seriously, live up to your, first things first, live up to your words and finish your fucking battles. Second, you cannot simply threaten someone because they don't believe in you. And it's not just Zoe. It's not just him. It's many. Like I said, I've had many people call me fucking stupid and call me brain dead because I did not oblige by these pronouns. And they call me, and I've had people in real life call me fucking transphobic. I've had a person in real life actually threaten me because I had a different political view amongst gender. So, for all the people out there, look, there are reasonable people out there. I'm not saying that every transgender out there is obliging by these stupid pronouns. And I even know some people out there who oblige. Like I said, I know people out there who oblige by pronouns, and they're fine people. I've said that before. But the thing is, there are people out there who will literally advocate for violence or slap a huge bigot label on fucking your forehead and then sit there and call you transphobic because you don't oblige by their fucking pronouns. They're genetic causes of a fucking pronoun. Well, here's the thing. Nobody's going to oblige by them. There are going to be people out there who will literally deny them. And if you can't handle that, then you got 2 options. You can either, 1, get over it and go by with your life, Or 2, get the fuck off the internet, get out of public, and don't shame yourself out of public. Go live in your bitch blue room with your safe space, your fucking Winnie the Pooh blankets hanging up on your fucking windows and your wall with your binky and blanky in your fucking crib. Because that's the best space you're ever gonna get from hate speech. Or actually, quote, quote, hate speech. Overall, this whole debacle, and I know this is kind of an old topic to talk about, but I've been meaning to get this off my chest for years. Because, it pisses me off. It pisses Ben Shapiro off. It pisses Hunter Avallone off. It pisses people off. That we have to hear this regurgitated shit happen on a constant daily basis. And if you don't oblige by them, then, oh, you're transphobic. You're a bigot. You're homophobic. It kind of makes me mad. It kind of pisses me off at that fact. And like I said, you want to believe in these pronouns. You want to believe in these genders. Go right ahead. It doesn't bother me. And I'm pretty sure it doesn't bother most of us conservatives. But what bothers us conservatives, Republicans, and even some liberals is that you try to force this on us. No shit, you tried to, and you might be denying it. You do. Take a look at your group. Take a look at Pride Month, the worst excuse for an LGBT celebration in existence. And that's coming from a person who's part of the LGBT community. Pride Month is a big fucking mistake. Pride Week would have made more sense. But now, you take a look at, speaking of which, Pride Month. It's not Pride Month no more. It's more or less propaganda spreading month. Because that's all it was. That's all it was this year. I saw it. Looking, nothing but propaganda. Oh, people hate me because I'm transgender. People hate me because I'm a woman. Oh, people don't oblige by my pronouns. Oh, I'm going to dress up in a tight fucking panties and overalls that are bitch pink or have rainbows all over them to push for my goddamn agenda. Yeah, Pride Month, more like propaganda month. Fucking A. Overall, the whole point of this, and I know I'm heading up to 27 mark, which is kind of really long, but hell, I don't fucking care. If we don't oblige by your pronouns, we're not transphobic. We're not. And also, for that person on that YouTube video that I was talking about who said that quoted that LGBT activist stating, oh, misgendering someone is an act of violence, I got 2 things for you. Actually, no, I think I have 3 things. I think I do. 1, how do you misgender someone? How the fuck do you seriously You can't. You can't misgender someone. 2, how is it an act of violence? It's simply going by someone's basic knowledge. And 3, most people are not going to oblige by it because they have to rewire their brains to go by your mental gymnastics and shit. So I hate to break it to you, sweetheart. You fucking beautiful dandelion and shit. Fucking A. Nobody's going to oblige by them. And if you can't, then go suck your thumb in a fucking corner. Go do that. I bet you get out of public. Go shun yourself in your safe space. Build you a fucking fort with blankies and binkies and diapers and fucking bottles everywhere. Because that's the appropriate safe space that you fucking need to be in. Or better yet, we have rooms for you, we have room for you people out there like y'all. They're bright fucking white and they are padded. Just saying. Overall, this whole entire debacle of gender and shit is gotten out of hand. And he's even gotten to the point where they're trying to teach it in school. That is another fucking video for another day. And I have a special YouTuber to talk about too. So overall, you can't handle criticism. And if you can't handle the fact that people are not going to oblige by it, get off the internet, get out of public, or fucking deal with it.